And welcome to another edition of Big Apple Hockey. I am your host for the night. You know me as Filk, John Filkowski, really long Polish name. Yes, at 92 and 82 on Twitter, so you can follow my rants, especially with a night like tonight. I'm going to be pretty entertaining with games like this when they start to screw up. So that's my Twitter handle. Follow me on there. It also says it down here next to my name. And yeah, we're doing a little post-game wrap-up again. Happy to have all of you on as of right this early with me here. I see you all. Thank you all for coming on with me. This is great. So we can commiserate over a bad Rangers game. But so we can start doing that and get that over with and then do a little Q&A afterwards. Let's hit the video and get on with the wrap-up. So yes, it's that time. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And like you, Diane, I am bummed too if you can't see it in my body language and hear it in the tone of my voice. And yeah, I'm going to try to go through this pretty quickly, so this way we can talk about these, talk about everything else, and then, just have some discussion afterwards, because I'm sure you guys have a ton of comments lined up after this. So, and girls, I see you, Diane. So, but the first one, Georgiev. He's the only one that really showed up tonight. And if it wasn't for Georgiev, this would probably be a 3 or a 4-0 loss, because no one showed up aside from him. So I'll quickly say hi to Rick, Diane, Lou, Brody, Steven, I see you in there. Dylan, I saw you. Is there anyone else I'm missing? I'm sorry. I see Dave, who was literally just at my apartment watching the game with me. But yeah, there's definitely some issues. Steven, I saw that last comment from you. That is a massive issue. The zone entries are horrible. I will talk about that in a little bit, though. So yeah, Georgiev is the only one that really showed up tonight. And if it wasn't for him, like I said, this is a 3 or 4-0 loss. He made some really good saves. I've got a bad feeling too about Colorado, Rick, and that I'm going to get to that in a little bit as well, because that's one of my bad points as well. So they just did not have it tonight, and Georgiev was the only one that really looked like he cared about winning this game. That's sad. And Gallant better correct that, because if they don't show up, then they're going to get torched by Colorado again. So. But I'm going to move on from that, because there's not a lot else to really say there, as you all know. But the first line should be on the back of a milk carton, because where the hell were they tonight? I saw somebody just say that, did Kakko even play? Was that Rick that said that? Yeah, Rick. I know Kakko was in the lineup, but did he even play? Yeah, good question, Rick, because I was wondering the same damn thing. December doldrums, Diane? Maybe that's it. But yeah, so they did not play well. That first line was invisible all night. Mika Zibanejad has got to start earning his damn contract. I don't care about what you did last year. I don't care about what you did the year before. You're getting paid $8.5 million against the cap. Earn your damn contract. You're not playing well right now. The goal scoring is not there. Okay. But the points were there. Now your defensive play wasn't there. You were slow all night. Chris Kreider had one of the worst games I think I've seen him play all year. I just, again, one of those games where, you're just like, okay, he's not doing anything to score, but he's also not doing anything away from the puck. And that's the ghost Chris Kreider that I was hard on earlier on in the year. Even though he was scoring, he wasn't playing well away from the puck. And now he's reverting that to that, and now he's not scoring. So if this is the start of the big slump, then the Rangers are in for it. Yeah, Spirited, you're right. Nothing happened. The first line did nothing. The second line wasn't great either, but they were better than the first. The third line was not good either. The fourth line did not give us great shifts tonight. So Now, I'm not saying it's all Kreider's fault, but that first line was terrible. Kakko was not good. Zibanejad was not good. They were all not good. That line was invisible. You cannot be invisible. I don't care if you're facing Roman Josi. Make Roman Josi's life hell. Hit him. Hurt him. Make him not want to play. So I'm going to move on from that because there's not, again, a whole lot to say, but they were passing up too many shots. They were playing too cute. So I just, Olivia, I wouldn't agree with this. I don't think he played terrible. I don't think he played good. He got quite a few good chances. He has to start one-timing pucks. So, but yeah, they passed up too many shots. They were playing too cute. They were trying to do extra passes instead of shooting the puck in high danger areas, which actually helped Saros' night out. I'm going to pop open a beer because this is not a good night. So I feel like popping one open. If anyone cares to join me, salute. But yeah, so you're right about this. They weren't moving fast enough in the zone. The players are too static once they're set. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Steven. The puck support wasn't there. There were too many times where pucks were being dumped by a player along the half wall when there was no player behind the net for the puck. And that's little attention to details that Gallant's teams are actually really good at that they were not good at tonight. Yes, we all kept yelling, shoot the puck. I don't know how many times I yelled it tonight. But yeah, Laffy was another one, Rick. I did not see enough from him tonight. Julien Gauthier looked like the only one noticeable on that line. Chytil did not have his legs tonight. And he turned the puck over like 2 or 3 times just with dumb plays. Yeah, and you're right about this, Dylan. The board battles just weren't there. I don't know what they were doing. Dryden Hunt needs to start skating again. He played so well up until 2 weeks ago, but where were the legs that got him the promotion that he got? Because I don't understand how he thinks he's good enough to coast. He's not. So he's got to be better. So I'll move on from that, though, because it just, again, not really enough. But the compete level was not good enough. They just weren't there tonight. They were just not good enough in terms of actually competing. And you're right, Mike. Mediocre against the top teams in the league. They beat up on lottery teams and teams that are not in the playoff picture. Steven mentioned that before with like a 14-2 stat and then 4-7, I think, against the playoff teams. So, hey, John, sorry that I'm not my usual self tonight, but this loss is kind of pissing me off. So, yeah, it is an issue, Steven. You're right. We were out hit badly. Yeah, it was like 36 to like 20 something, like in terms of the hits. So that's bad. Comments or what am I looking at? Banners rather. Yeah, I just there's not a lot to say about the compete level. It just simply wasn't good enough. None of the lines were really skating. They were chasing the play all night. It was bad. I'm gonna move on to the next point. And that's something that you guys have been saying in the chat here, but playing down to a bad team came back to bite them. They played down to Buffalo, and Steven is right. And this was the big thing here. The loss to Colorado was a huge mental blow to the team, but they got away with it against Buffalo. And that's the thing. They played down to Buffalo, and now they've got to stop doing that. And they did that last year under Quinn. Like, Gallant better correct that. He better get on them for that. So, John, Nils was out for a non-COVID-related illness. Yeah. And, Rick, you're right about this. He needs to hit the net more. And, Dylan, yeah, you're right. They forced too many passes into lanes the lanes that were not available. I'll cover that in a little bit, Dylan, actually. So, but good call on that. And yeah, I mean, you just can't play down to Buffalo. You get into a bad habit when you play down against a team like that. The first 20 minutes of the game against Buffalo were really good, and it seemed like they were disappointed that they were only up by 1-0, and then the rest of the game was just not good enough. except for, I mean, maybe the first 15 minutes of the third period, they came out and they played a little better, but it still wasn't even that much better than the second. So this team has been playing bad since the second period. Actually, no, this team has been playing bad since the first Chicago game. The first Chicago game, I thought they played bad. Yeah, this is actually a great point, Jack. The neutral zone trapping is just, that's what it is. They don't like to dump the puck, and they want to carry the puck through the neutral zone. And yes, I get it. Possession helps, but there are times where you're going to have to go in and grind and win. So they're going to have another meeting where they emphasize this. So, but you're right, Jack. It's the trap teams, and it's been like this for a while. So I'm going to move on from this, though. Again, they chased the play all night. And it seemed like this is the third, I would say fourth game in a row where they chased the play most of the night. Or maybe 4 out of 5. I would say the 2 Chicago games, the Colorado game, and this game, they really chased the play the majority of the night, the vast majority of the night. So the only game I would say that they didn't chase it the vast majority of the night was the Buffalo game, and they chased it for the last 5 minutes of the third and the vast majority of the second period. So you want to say like 35 minutes they were controlling the play? Okay, cool. But not good enough. Not good enough. It's simply not. They need to be better. And being behind like this is not going to help them. You know what? Maybe if they could have gotten to overtime, maybe they could have won that game somehow. I don't know if I even have faith in them winning it in overtime. So, but I'm going to move on from this because sloppy execution on offense will always hurt your team. This team was sloppy, and the passing was off. Something was just not right. Their breakout passes were awful. They couldn't move the puck out of their own zone for whatever reason. I mean, Nashville's defense is good, but it just, when you're passing the puck and you're forcing it into lanes and making dumb decisions, it's going to make a team easier to it's going to help out the team that's defending against you. And you're right about that, Jack. They passed up some good chances. I was talking about that before. Trouba has been pretty good lately. I don't think he was bad tonight. I don't think he was good tonight. I thought he was just meh, but the whole team was just meh at best. So, yeah, and you're right. That's why I said the Georgiev was the only one that showed up tonight, Steven. So, I would just say that when you can't, yeah, and they didn't hold up the forecheck because the execution was bad. You got to support the puck. When you don't have the puck in your forechecking, you guys got to be in the right spots to help make the defenders' lives on the other team hell, and they didn't. But it still wasn't that bad. I didn't think he was good. He definitely wasn't anywhere close to his normal self. But again, the team did not help him out. Jack, I would say they were okay. I didn't think the power play was good, but I didn't think they were bad either. Got to start screening the goaltender. It's got to start happening. So, yeah. You're every 8 out of 10 nights per every 8 out of 10 games in Hank's career, you could sit there and say that that Hank would stop everything that he saw. And then on some of those nights, teams would just put bodies in front of him and crash into him and make his life hell, and that's how they would score on him. You had to do that to Saros tonight, and they didn't. And that's the problem. So, Adam, he might have been. I didn't see much of him in the third, and you know what? It's kind of warranted if he didn't play a lot in the third. I would have to see his ice time. So, but going on to the next point, passing was off all night. It just, whether it was by an inch or whether it was by feet, something was not right in the passing. They were forcing pucks into lanes that weren't available, like you were saying before, Dylan. They just, I don't know what was going on with them, but something was off on the passing. it wasn't working. And Panarin went back to playing the way that he played earlier on the year when, that basically what I was just saying. He didn't look good tonight. Yeah. He was just forcing pucks into lanes that weren't there. He was doing the things earlier on in the season that when he was just completely off again. And you know what? It's just, Anthony, thank you. Appreciate it, because they played. And you're right, Jack. Panarin was a turnover machine tonight. He was frustrated. You could see it in his body language. It wasn't there. So the passing's got to be better. The biggest thing that I've noticed is that the breakout passes were just completely off, and they couldn't get through the neutral zone because of it. So what they were doing was trying to force passes into the lanes in the neutral zone, and they were getting picked off. So, that's a good question, Rick. It's a good question. Maybe they did. But maybe I need to join them on the party. So, that sounds about right. And Kakko didn't play well. Neither did Hunt. Where is Hunt's engine? Because he has not been playing lately like he had before he got promoted to that second line. So, yeah. Just everything was off. Another thing, Kreider was out of position on the Tomasino shot for the goal. Georgiev has to stop that shot, though. You can't let up a 35-foot unscreened wrist shot. You can't. He's not Alexander Ovechkin. That shot should not go in. Sorry. You're right, Jack. They couldn't get through because of the trap, and they refused to dump and chase. That's what this team does when they're playing against teams that stack the neutral zone like that. And you gotta adjust. And they did not adjust tonight, and they lost because of it. So they're not going to adjust. They're not going to win those games. David, you're right about that. Kreider seems to be cooling off. Totally agree there. His game lately has just left a lot to be desired. Kind of makes me question whether he can hit 30 at this point, because I know he's got time, but he just seems to be looking like he's primed for a big slump. So, but Kreider was just out of position on that, left Tomasino wide open, but Georgiev still got to stop that shot. It's a stoppable shot. That's what it comes down to. It's the only thing I could really fault Georgiev for tonight. Not saying they lost because of him, but the shot has to be stopped. Yeah, and Steven, you're right. Gallant will prove his worth in the coming weeks. You're right about that. Now you gotta change things up. And yes, I said that, Rick. That's why I said it's not his fault, but he still has to stop that shot. So Hayek played well. I don't really agree. I don't think that pairing was terrible, but I don't think they were good either. They were there. And the other thing that I'll say is the last thing is that the Rangers should have had more power plays. I'm not saying they lost because of the officials, but they should have had more power plays. The officials missed a few blatant calls, including Kevin Rooney basically getting rock bottomed by two Nashville players. I don't understand how that one wasn't called. There were a couple that were not called that I thought were like, are you kidding me? Like, where's the interference on that? But again, they did not lose because of the referees. They lost because they didn't show up. So Hayek outplayed Nemeth. The bar is pretty low there, Mike. I'm not going to lie to you. The bar is very low there. But you're right. He did. Nemeth was his usual self. He made a couple of okay plays, though. I will give him credit where it's due. But he just, yeah. So, Dylan, you know what? We'll get into the comments here. Send Nemeth down and bring Zach Jones up. I would love to see Zach Jones, but supposedly the organization is happy with them getting big minutes in Hartford. And by them, I mean him and Braden Schneider. So Jalen, Brett Howe, yeah. I know this is sarcasm, Jalen, but yeah. I'm going to try to go through some of these other comments and see if there's anything that I missed, anything that I haven't really addressed. No, there really isn't anything that we Yeah, Dylan, you're right. We have to learn how to face offs. Yeah. How to face off should be a thing. So, the indent in my couch formed from my ass and outplayed Nemeth. Yeah, probably. So, if you replace Nemeth with Hayek and he plays the third, that will include. I don't necessarily know that, and I don't think that Hayek can sustain that level. He's been more than bad enough over the years. I don't see it. I really don't see it, David. I'm sorry. I just don't. Yeah, and this is what I was referring to. I think that if this team wants to actually win a playoff round and make some sort of noise, I think they need an improvement over Nemeth. It's got to happen, and I think they're going to have to go out and get a score because I think that guys like Hunt and Kakko are not going to be able to bear the load against better teams like it was shown tonight. So I think eventually they're going to have to make a move for a score on that wing sooner than later. So you got to wonder who's going to be available. But yeah, you're going to need ammo against better teams. Jack, yeah, I'm with you. It's bad. He's not good enough. He's got to start earning that contract. Kessel, yeah, John, that's one that I would think about, and he'd probably come cheap too. Ricard Raquel, if Anaheim falls out of it, Steve, yeah, I and same with Dallas with Radulov. I personally would rather Pavelski than Radulov because of the center right wing versatility and that he can win faceoffs. And not only that, but I think he would help out power play 2. I think actually Pavelski would help out power play 1, but I don't think they'll do that. But yeah. But is Hayek, Tenorti, or Nemeth bad? Hayek is like between the two of them. Hayek's better than Tenorti. I don't know if he's better than Nemeth at this point. Probably is, maybe by a little bit, but he's still pretty bad. Yeah, I remember that because the 2018 Worlds was Mika Zibanejad's coming out party. He started playing better after that tournament, and then that offseason really worked on his offseason regimen. He himself said he needed to take that more seriously, and that 2018 offseason was a big offseason for him. So whatever he's doing, he needs to change that up. Kakko, Lav, Hunt need to pull their weight. None of them look like threats. Panarin and Strome are the only guys going. Yeah, I agree with this, Sean. This is on the money right now. Hunt. I'm disappointed in Hunt because the last, I would say, 4 games or so, maybe 5, he really hasn't been pulling his own weight. So, yeah, Jack, you're right about this. They didn't make any type of schematic adjustment. They needed more dumping and screening, and they refused to change. And you're right about that. And I was saying that all night. Dave was with me, and I was saying you needed to get a body in front of the goaltender. That was one of my talking points before. So, Hope Miller hit the shower after the game because he hit nobody during it. Yeah, it's probably about right. Love how Joe explained for the casual fans why you needed a left-handed shot on the right hash for the power play. Yeah, and I don't understand the refusal to have the left-handed shot there. Strome had a couple of plays where if he would have just one-timed it and redirected or tapped the puck in instead of waiting to shoot, he probably could have scored. So Miller seems to be immune to the Revo effect and shrinks away even though there are scrums in front of the net. Yeah, he does not have a killer instinct, Mike. And that's a big problem for a guy that's 6'4", 6'5", probably 6'5" and 220 pounds. He's got to be more physical. Hunt is this year's Blackwell, decent bottom player, but nothing special. You're right about that. Don't get me started on Miller. Coaches need to make him play the body. Yeah, he has to. He has to stop stick waving, and he's got to be more physical. You cannot be as soft as he is for a guy his size. You can't. You can't. It's enough is enough. It's too Tom Poti-ish for me. It's just terrible. It's really not good. So, yeah, this is one of those just games where it's an annoying loss. there are a lot of things that could have changed, that could have helped them win. But ultimately, what it comes down to is just there was not enough of a compete level. Two lefty shooters you have are Kakko or Laffy. Pick your evil. Yeah, I agree. Kakko's got to improve his shot. He's got to improve his shot. It's not good enough. I know you were gives. Yeah, then that's what I said, Jack. That's exactly what I said. I said that he was the only one that showed up to play, but he still has to stop the Tomasino shot. Both things can absolutely be true. You can't let up a 35-foot wrister, but they did not lose because of Alexander Georgiev. They lost because no one showed up. And that's the bottom line there. There's no arguing that. So, I'm not happy with this team right now after tonight's performance, but that's why I said I was nervous after the stream or during the stream on Friday in the Q&A time. I said I was nervous. I did not like the way that this team looked going into this game, especially with the performance on Friday against Buffalo. It was not good enough. Not good enough. And that's gotta change. It's an annoying loss. They just couldn't get through the defense. Preds kept. Yeah, you're right about that, David. But you also got to show up and fight through that. And they didn't show up and fight through that. There are games, especially come down to crunch time, down the stretch, like what happened last year against the Islanders, the Penguins, and the Bruins. And come playoff time, when you make the playoffs, where you're going to have to bring your lunch pails. This team did not want to bring their lunch pails tonight, and that's why they lost. McCann would be a good one, but again, you need scorers. I'd be okay with McCann as a secondary addition. Pavelski would really be a guy that could help. Kopp would be a good one because I think he could go up and down the lineup. Fiala, I don't think they're going to do that because again, he's got turn, and I don't think they're going to take on somebody with turn. They've been sliding since Colorado, even versus Buffalo. Sean, I would say they slid against Chicago. Those two games against Chicago were not good. Saros stole the game too. Yes, Bobby, Saros played well, but they did not make his life hard enough in the game. They really didn't. No, it wasn't the worst game, but the biggest problem I have is that they didn't show up enough offensively. You're right. They didn't hit enough. They were getting bullied early, but yeah. Jack, I would do it. I would do it. I would put Kakko back with them. I would try to see if Hunt can. I would try to see if Hunt can play with Mika and Kreider, and be in that role. I think that Kakko. I don't know if Kakko's ready for first line duty. He played much better on the second line. Yeah, maybe you need to stay over here. I want Shesterkin back. I feel like they were going to rely on him too much like they did before he got injured. I think that stopped for a while, Dylan, for quite some time. But I can see your concern there. I can see it. I was mad that Trouba, I don't know if they ever really woke up, Ryan. I thought that would wake them up, and they thought that they would start playing better. But I didn't notice a noticeable jump in their play after that hit. And that's just the kind of night it was. Sad, but you're not going to have it every night. And they didn't have it tonight, boys and girls. So, yeah, as you can see, another light sky for me. Blue moon. Love this stuff. Cheers, everybody. Just because I have to drown my sorrows in some sort of way after a Rangers loss. I know. Overdramatic. You're going to get overdramatic Phil tonight, everybody. You know, you're right about that, DP. You got to give Nashville credit. They were solid. They made life hard for the Rangers, and the Rangers didn't want to fight through it. And the Isles are winning now. Steven, you must come back to New York. Yeah. I do agree with this, Sean. I've been advocating for a winger for a while. So Connor Garland, yeah, would be perfect, but Vancouver ain't going to deal him, John. And he's got term. So I don't think the Rangers are going to add anybody with term. Steven Georgiev is the type of player who play better when he plays. He gets rusty real quick, not unlike Lundqvist. Yeah, so I agree with that. Yeah, Will Cooley got named to Canada's World Junior team, but that was a little further back. So Cooley and Garon for Canada. Yeah. Dylan, yeah, you're right. You win some, you lose some. You got short memory. What do I tell you, Dylan? Short memory, next save. Just like the Rangers tonight. Short memory, next game. Move on. Ariana, yeah, you might be right about this, Ariana. I hope not. No. Oh, no, they announced the definitive roster. Okay, fair enough, Steven. I didn't see that. My fault. Yeah, Gottfilk. Yeah. That could be a good one. So, but, yeah, this roster has been, this team has been a little, they've been in a little slump, and they've still managed to win games, which is the glass half full version of me talking. But the glass half empty version is they're going to start playing some real good teams. They need to show up, not show up like this, because this is not good enough. Simply not. I would like to see Lafreniere on power play 1, but he hasn't done a lot to earn it. So, I don't know. It's a conundrum, Jack. It really is. But I've been calling for I think that if you put Lafreniere on power play 1, you could get his confidence going if he gets a couple of goals. So have a good night, Dylan. Thanks for joining. I appreciate that. So get your rest. I know you got a week ahead of you tomorrow, starting tomorrow. So, but it's just. I'm almost at a loss for words here because it's just, I feel like I've said everything I can say about this. John, no. Annoyed? Yes. Concerned? No. So, rest? Yeah. What's that? Us. Friday into Saturday, 4:30 in the morning. Ugh, ridiculous. Man, you can't keep me up all night like that, dude. Can't keep me up like that all night. I have to function over these weekends, So, but always a good talk with you, buddy. Always. Besides Kessel, what shooters are available? Dallas starts falling. Pavelski and Radulov could be available. Riley Smith is a little more of a playmaker, but I think he fits, But we'll see. Time can change things, Ryan. So, Mike, no. I'm not going till 4 a.m. I just don't have it in me. Concerned about Lafreniere or Kakko. Yeah, I know. I'm not concerned. I'm annoyed. So, David, yeah, I think they will. I think they're going to wait this over until the last second, and I think they're going to pull out. So, good night, Steven. Take care, buddy. I know you're ahead, so on time, so 5 hours ahead. Jeez, man. But have a good night, buddy. So, yeah, this is an interesting game. I wish it could be a little more upbeat and positive. I don't know. I don't know how long I'm going to stay on tonight. Probably not a terrible, not for a long time. So, need a first line shakeup in some form. We have to find a way to. Yeah, we do. Something has got to get him going. So, you're right. Something's got to get him going. Michael, thank you. Appreciate it. Just remember, guys, like, share, and subscribe if you can, please. Liking the videos on YouTube helps with the algorithms, like I've said. We appreciate it. We're trying to do more content, as you can tell. I try to do these after every game. Sometimes I'm not always home to do them. But, if you see me on here, I'm usually home. So, Sean, I don't think I agree with this at all. I think I don't know if you're being sarcastic here. I would hope not. I would hope you are being sarcastic, but I don't think you move on from a kid that early. 20 years old, and 2 of his first 3 seasons have been just with an idiot coach. So you need time. Yeah, Chris, I agree with you on both of these. Heedle needs to hit the net more, and the Rangers definitely need a sniper. This team has to stop shooting for top corners left and right. They have to start shooting on other areas, shoot low on goaltenders, shoot shoot like 7-hole on goalies, between the arm and the pad. Start shooting at different locations where the goaltender's not expecting it. So, trivia was a Mark thing, Ryan. Trivia is not really a me thing. I could, but I just feel like it's a little. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it at some point, but I don't feel like really doing that tonight. I'm not gonna lie. Brody, thank you. Appreciate it. I mean, you gotta be real. You can't be complacent. Just because the team is winning doesn't mean that they're not screwing things up. They were winning some of these games, especially early on, where Igor was stealing games for them. And then even these, like, the last week and change, they were winning games and they weren't playing well. Mike, you're right about that. Chytil needs to start winning faceoffs. You're right. Sean, I agree to a point where, the age and the draft choice do come into play, but he's not wasting a roster spot. I think that he might benefit from some time down in Hartford. I don't know if you can do that at this point. I really don't. I don't know if that could kill his confidence, Mike, I agree with you. I do miss Buchnevich. I can't keep pining over him, but I do miss the guy. David, I think he's eventually going to break out. He looked close. You're right about this part. It's not that he doesn't get it. I think his speed needs to improve. And yeah, I think I kind of agree with this. Maybe the third line is just, it needs a shakeup. I don't agree with him. I don't agree with this wasting ice time. I don't. He had a bad game tonight, but I don't agree with that. But I do agree that the third line needs a shakeup. I definitely would give up on Chytil too before Kakko, well before Kakko. I do think that Chytil's future with this team is in question because he just has not given this team enough. And maybe he does find it elsewhere, but at some point you gotta make a decision whether you're going to stick with this kid or not. And I think that's coming sooner than later. So, I'd be harder on the vets. They didn't show up tonight. Yeah, I listen, Brody. I said the first line was bad tonight. I didn't think Strome was bad tonight. I thought Panarin played. I thought Panarin's compete level was there, but his body language showed frustration, and he made a lot of boneheaded plays tonight. So put Kakko and Laf together. I don't know how moving Kakko down helps, but no. This I do not agree with at all, Sean. I'm sorry, but you can't say third season produce or not. No. That's just not how it works. If that's the case, then Todd Bertuzzi would have been gone. Todd Bertuzzi would have never made it in the NHL. So let's look at Mikko Rantanen. First season, 9 games with Colorado, 0 points. 20 goals and 38 points in his second season. Then the third season was the 29 goals, 84 points. But he had Nathan McKinnon for Mikko Rantanen. I could point to another bunch of other players. And speaking of which, Bertuzzi was really like the prototype for what you would look at. Bertuzzi, 39 points, 23 points, 33 points. It took Bertuzzi until his 5th season to break out. Just remember that. Players like that, sometimes it takes... No, I know not gone from the NHL, gone from the Rangers, but that's not how it works. Sean, development is not linear. It's not. And if you expect linear development, then you're going to be disappointed by every player that you think you have a pulse on. And Jack is right. 20 years old, his 3rd season, and it's his first with top 6 minutes. Nilsson, yeah. Nielsen, as Sam called him, was out with the flu. So, no. This is Rick, honestly, I like you, but this is one of the worst takes I think I've seen from you. How can you even say that? How can you say that? I don't get what you guys are doing right now, quitting on kids. You're quitting on the kids, but you're not going to blame the veterans? The veterans who's supposed to lead the charge and show up? And the guys who have the letters on their chest? You're not going to blame them, but you're going to blame the kids? Oh, man. Oh, man. I need to drink more. I need to drink more if that's going to be. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, I know that's sarcasm, Bill, but no. Mika does not get a pass at all. He's been terrible. Mark Stone is another example for a little bit of a late bloomer, you know? If you look at Mark Stone's stats, it took him a while to develop. And you know what? Guys with bigger frames, that's what he usually does because they have to get used to those big frames. It takes a while. Stop. Development is not linear. Mark Stone, 2013, 4 games. Couldn't stay in the NHL at age 20. 21, 19 games, 8 points. And then third season at 22, or his first full season, took him until 22 years old to be able to stay in the NHL and produce. So, yeah, I don't. I love Kakko too, Bill, but I wouldn't say elite. I wouldn't say elite. That's not elite. I don't think the past 2 seasons have afforded the young player. You're right about this, Michael. You're right. They need COVID hurt this team a lot with the playing time. Got to remember, Alexis Lafreniere literally has played 83 games in the NHL. 83. Kakko. Let's take a look at Kakko's career games played. Because everybody wants to quit on this kid for whatever reason right now. Let's see here. Kakko has played 136 games. That's not 2 full seasons. Stop quitting on him. It's stupid to quit on him. The vets have got a lead. Yes, Lou, thank you. Thank you. And Crispy Bacon, you're right about this. It's frustrating, but don't quit on them. Yeah, and you're right about this, Jack. How many of Laf's 83 games was he play? Laf's, you know what Laf's career minutes per game are? 13 minutes per game. 13. I've noticed him in 3 of those 136. I've noticed him in a lot more than that, Sean. I would tell you that you're either really being hard on him, or if you're serious with this comment, you're not paying enough attention. Yeah, and give me a break. We aren't selling the kids. You're right. You're right. You guys are miserable with this sell the kids stuff. Really, you guys are all over them when they're playing well, and then you want to sell them off when the entire team plays well? Sean, you got to be trolling me, man. You got to be, because if you're serious, I'm really concerned about you if you're serious, buddy. You can't be serious with this stuff. None of you guys can be serious with this. You guys are all smarter than this. And if you guys are serious, I'm drinking more. And you know what? I shouldn't have said that, because now you guys are going to tell me you're serious because you want me to drink more. Normally don't do this, but yeah. Jalen, yeah, I saw you say this like twice before. No one's going to give anything for Libor Hayek. Lou, yeah, I would agree with this, Lou. Hey, Aiden, if $70, it's not bad. Yeah, I know, Rick. I had a feeling you were going to say that. Aiden, why not? Get the jersey. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you tomorrow, bud. Definitely sounds like a lot of trolling to me. I hope so. Yes, Aiden, you should. Nazdrovia. Kevin, you're right. Stick with the kids. I just think they're in love with Booch or something. To give up on Kakko is way too early. Diane, you couldn't be more right about this. Thank you for being a voice of reason for me here. Because I'm going to need help tonight if these guys are serious. Aiden, thank you, buddy. Appreciate that, man. Definitely hope to see you in more of these streams. Welcome to the show. David, for all the time Sather was in charge of complaining about trading picks for the vets, now yeah, exactly. Thank you, David. Thank you. I think we should, you know what, Jack? I talked about this in the past. He does not look like a center. I've had extensive conversations with Steven about this. Ask Steven the next time you guys see Steven. We've talked about this. So, God, I'm glad no one gave up on me when I was starting to live at age 20. Brody, I'm at age 36, and I'm not where I'm supposed to be yet, or where society says I'm supposed to be. So I'm thankful that nobody's given up on me yet. Sometimes it takes a while. Guys, girls, in life, whether sports or our own lives, development is not linear. So just remember that. I'd rather have stud defensemen future considerations on the team than I like that, Jalen. I like that. Stud defenseman future considerations. Oh, man. What number would future considerations wear, Jalen? 69? 48? I love this team. People need to relax on a 1-0 loss. Kevin, you're right. We got Kakko and Lafreniere when the Rangers really didn't even suck enough. That's the biggest thing, Crispy. You're right about this. So, thank you, Mike. Appreciate that, buddy. Lou, I would like to say so. I hope I'm a late bloomer. No trolling. I'm not about selling the kids. I'm not really talking about the kids. My whole point was, at this point, Kakko's not a... Okay. All right, fine. Kakko's not a contributing member of the team. Look, are you looking at what the shares are on this team and what the scoring is right now? Kakko plays 15 minutes a game. That's the highest he's played in his career. 15 minutes per game. So let's see what happens when you go into the scoring for the team. So I'm pulling it up right now. Panarin, Fox, Kreider with 21, Zibanejad, Strome. Those are the 5 guys that are on our top power play. The 5 guys on the power play all have the 5 highest points on the team. Then 6 is Jacob Trouba. Barclay Goodrow, who played first-line minutes for a bit, has 10 points. Lafreniere and Kakko then have 8 points apiece. Do you want to know how much time they average per game? Alexis Lafreniere averages 13 minutes and 5 seconds a game. Kakko averages 15 minutes and 37 seconds per game. So all the guys ahead of him, Barclay Goodrow averages 16:06, Trouba 22 and 23 seconds, Strome 18:03, Zibanejad 19:43, Kreider 18:20, Fox 24:30, Panarin 19:18. You cannot say that Kakko is not a contributor when he's not getting nearly the ice time ahead. Question mark would be a good number for future considerations. I agree with you, but I don't think they would let that happen in the NHL. Don't you know the first or second pick in the draft, Purdy? I'm not sure what that's referencing there, Rick. I'm sorry. I wish the NHL would stop sending players to the Olympics. I think they might pull out, Mike. I think they might. No, Rick, but I'm human, and so are the kids. They dealt with COVID-19 and this affects just as... Yeah, you're right. Jalen, you're right about this. Trouba's quietly having a good year. I agree. He's played a lot better since the last Calgary ass whipping, like I've said. Hey, IZ, Nashville plays a semi-trap. Not sure if room in the middle could have used Sammy Blais. I don't think Sammy Blais would have made much of a difference, AZ. Yeah, I hope you had a great weekend as well, buddy. But I don't think Blay would have really made the difference in this game. The difference in this game was just skating. So, um, true train. He's been better as of late. So, you're right, Rick. All the players have suffered through it. But when you have two kids that are trying to develop and they're not getting games and they're not getting minutes, then that throws everything off. Again, development is not linear. And having something like this shut down the league and hurt the overall flow of seasons is not going to help two young kids. It's not. They need games. They need time. I don't know if I agree with the last part of this, Mike, but I think they're going to pull out because I don't think they want the possibility of having to quarantine for 5 weeks. That's just not going to, I don't think it's going to fly with them. Yeah, and the vets were established in the NHL and had proper development. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, even, you want to talk about a late bloomer? Look at Mika Zibanejad. Mika Zibanejad is the biggest example of this because his career is a topsy-turvy, and Ottawa gave up on him for a reason because he wasn't taking his offseason seriously. And that's what happens when you do that. So looking at Mika Zibanejad from year to year, okay, 2012, he played 9 games, got his cup of coffee, had 1 point. Then 2013 was the lockout, 42 out of 48 games, had 20 points. The next year, 2014, 33 points in 69 games. Then 2015, 20 goals, 46 points, 80 games. Okay, improvement. And then what happens? 21 goals, 51 points in 2016. They trade him for Derek Brassard because he's not at the level that they expected him to be at 22 years old, which is weird. So his first year with the Rangers, he gets hurt. He's on pace for about 50 points. The next year, 27 goals, 47 points in 72 games. He's on pace for about 30 goals and 55 points or so. And then he finally takes his off seasons more seriously and breaks out in 2018-19. So, Diane, I get why. He's played better as of late. I still think there's more to him. I think he could be better. Hayek played okay. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't really good either. I don't know. He's kind of meh. He was there. And Jack, you're right. They're both 20 years old. Why are we flipping out over what two 20-year-olds are not doing? They're in their second and third seasons, respectively, and this team had a clown show coach for 2 of Kakko's seasons and 1 of Lafreniere's. Just give them time. Olympics shouldn't be the place for pros. It should be the best amateurs. I have no problem with that, but I don't necessarily agree that it needs to be juniors or anything like that. So, Trouba's my favorite Ranger right now. Yeah, I can see why. He's playing great. He's playing physical. Lafreniere and Kakko can't even have a beer after the game and people want to move on. You're right. That's just nuts. It's nuts. It's nuts. Yeah, I'd rather have a Brian Leach cutout than Nemeth too. I think I'd rather have a traffic cone or a pylon as opposed to Nemeth. Laf and Kaapo are going to be really important players in the future. Yes, I agree. I don't. Herb Brooks and those players were at the right place at the right time. The Russians were eventually going to get upset at some point, and that was it. That was also guys like Karlamov and Mikhailov and so on. Like, they were getting older. Tretiak was getting older too. So, I mean, they had a bunch of young kids who were whipped into shape by Brooks, and Brooks forced their game down their throat, and that's how they won. So, yeah, and that's the thing. They want the Olympics. They want pros. They want people to watch. It's money, man. You're right. Russians, well, that's the thing. They were playing professional level players in Russia, and those guys were ahead of the curve. I'm telling you right now, if Sergei Makarov played his prime years in the 80s in the NHL, he would have been scoring 150 or more points a year back then. He was so far ahead of nearly every player in the NHL back then, it wasn't even funny. That KLM line would have dominated the NHL the way they did in exhibition series. Oh man, we saw the tail end of Sergei Makarov, but he would have been incredible. And you're right, Jack. Not every, and I've said this before, not every first or second overall player, or no player, even regardless of draft position, is the same as the next player picked in that position in the next year. Every draft is different. You've got to stop comparing Austin or Lafreniere to Austin Matthews. It's stupid. It doesn't work like that. Rick, I don't even know how you can say this, Rick. I don't. I really don't. I am mystified right now by this, because you weren't saying this beforehand after other games, and now we're gonna say this after this game. I'm sorry. I'm calling shenanigans here, guys. You guys are all great. I love all of you, but I'm gonna call shenanigans when you guys are flip-flopping, and I'm calling shenanigans here. Calling it. I can't believe that you guys are turning on these kids right now. The Rangers are also stacked with high-end talent clogging up the top two lines. It means lesser. And yeah, you're right. David, Kakko and Lafreniere were actually never considered generational players. You're right. You're right about that. They weren't. Look at JT Miller after being training a second time. Yes. And the thing is with JT Miller, I can't say this enough, but JT Miller said that the trade to Vancouver woke him up. He realized that he had to be better after that. So you guys gotta chill. Overreaction with kids, amazing. We need to relax and be patient. By the time these guys are 23 and 24-year-old, they will be. Yes. Thank you, John. Thank you. Yeah, and Jack, yeah, absolutely. Like, it's like some of the stuff I'm hearing is if Kakko and Lafreniere are responsible for us losing this. Like, why? How are these guys responsible? Listen, Kakko did not play well. I barely noticed him all night. He did not play well. I am not saying that he played well by any means. But if you think that he's the reason we lost, I have to wonder what you're watching. So, and yeah, and this is it. Just because it's a number one overall pick does not mean that every player will be like Connor friggin' McDavid. That is a generational talent. That is not just a generational talent. He is the most skilled player to ever play this game. Ever. He's more skilled than Lemieux. He's more skilled than Gretzky. He's more skilled than Messier. He's more skilled than Yzerman. You're talking about someone who plays the game at a speed we've never seen before and processes the game at that speed. No one has ever done what Connor McDavid is doing. AZ, you're right. Brennan Othman could help. You're right about this. I think he can be a contributor. I'll not just jump on the launch Nemeth past the moon bandwagon, but lead the ceremony. Yeah, we need to give the kids a chance. I agree, Mike. And Patrick Nemeth should not be with this team after the season. He shouldn't. He's just not good enough. Jalen, good night, buddy. I'll see you next stream. Probably Tuesday night I'll do one. So. But yeah, I mean, you're looking at players that are 20 years old. And if you want to quit on a player that's 20 years old, I don't think you'll ever have any type of satisfaction. Because unless these kids come into the league at 18 and break out, and I know people are going to say things like, oh, look at what Tim Stützle is doing. You're right. Tim Stützle is getting power play time. He doesn't play defense. He's horrible off the puck. I mean, do you want players like that? I don't. Tim Stützle might be great to watch. Yeah, because he's a great skater and has great hands and he's a great passer and everything like that. I get it. He's a talent that's worth having, but he's also terrible off the puck. He's someone that you're not going to want to put out in the final 2 minutes of a game holding a lead because he can't. He's not one of those players. Just I don't get how you I really don't get how you give up on these kids this early. I really don't. Yeah, Jack, I agree with this. If he traded Kakko for something, if he would have traded Kakko for something less than Jack Eichel, I would call for his head. I would absolutely call for his head. Nemeth will be gone after this season. Another veteran. Yeah, I hope so, AZ. I hope so. Because this team can't have Patrick Nemeth going forward. You can't. He's either got to be released or waived. He's terrible. He's terrible. Oh, my God. Jeez. Yeah, this would be bad, Michael. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Let's hope Drury thinks more like me and less like Brooks. Yeah, I don't think they're not trading for Kane. Don't even think about it. Yeah, they traded Amante, Wait, and Zubov and Nedved. Yeah, and that killed the team for 10 years. So if the two kids are really that good, then why is the coaching staff giving? Listen, Rick, I'm telling you to be patient. I'm not telling you that they are great right now. That's not the point I'm making. If that's what you're hearing from me, I'm going to reiterate this again. I'm not saying that they are there yet. I'm not. What I'm saying is that you need patience and that you need to give these guys time. Development is not a linear thing. It's not. It just doesn't. It doesn't just go third season and look at Nathan MacKinnon, 60-point rookie year. 60-point rookie year. And he went and had what after that? I'm gonna give you Nathan MacKinnon's stat lines from the years between his rookie year and 2018 because this is gonna be interesting. You're gonna love these stats. Oh yeah. Nathan MacKinnon, 2013-14, 24 goals, 63 points, Calder Trophy winner. 2014-15, 14 goals, 38 points in 64 games. Terrible for him, especially the year before. Then 2015-16, 21 goals, 52 points in 72 games. Not good for a guy who had 63 points and won the Calder in his rookie year. 2016-17, 16 goals, 53 points in 82 games. Yes, Nathan MacKinnon was bad for 3 years before he finally broke out in 2017-18, almost winning the MVP. Jack, there is no market for Nemeth right now. I would be shocked if there was, but I will gladly take any team that takes his full salary on. Not a Hayek fan, but watching a game with Nemeth Hayek, yeah, I would agree with that, Mike. Totally agree with you there. Brody, yeah, they gave up on John LeClair, and then he went and found a fit with Eric Lindros and scored. And here's a little thing for you, Brody, a little stat. But do you know the last player to have 3 consecutive 50-goal seasons is actually John LeClair, 1996, 1997, and 1998. Just remember that. John LeClair, the last player with back-to-back 50-goal seasons. Alexander Ovechkin didn't do it. Oh, actually, no. Did he? He might have actually the second time around. Hold on. Wait. Wait, let me see something here. No, Ovechkin did. I'm sorry. 14, 15, and 16. I'm sorry. He did. Okay, so the last player before Ovechkin was LeClair. Sherratt, Giordano, or McCabe. I don't think McCabe's going to be it because he's got term. I could see Giordano. I would love Mark Giordano in here. The Laf haters will despise this opinion. In a year or two, Laf can improve his skating. But yeah, I don't know about center, but I do think he needs to improve his strength and his skating. I've said that for a while now. I think that would really help his game big time. I think his skating is just too. It's too plotting for me. You know, I need more from. I need more from him. Yeah. Someone just posted in the Facebook group. I think Saros is good, but I don't think he necessarily stole it. But yeah, Leclerc's in good company. But yeah, those are the last two players. Only two players in the last 25 years to have back-to-back 50-goal seasons. So you're right about this, Mike. I think skating would help him with that. I think conditioning does need to be better, though, too. That's just me. But again, 20 years old and getting used to it. He's not even in his peak physical years. Davey, it happens. It happens, buddy. It happens. It just wasn't their night. But again, you need to show up to play. I think they scared Sean off. I think he was not happy with me calling out shenanigans on that. Or either that or he's just being really quiet right now. Oh, this is a great point, Brody. It took Buchnevich how many years to develop? Let's see here. 4, probably. So, let's see. Buchnevich finally turned into... Okay, so let's see. Pavel Buchnevich. I'm pulling up his stats. Okay, so 2016-17, 41 games, 20 points. 2018, 14 goals, 43 points in 74 games. 2019, 21 goals, 38 points in 64 games. Then in 68 games in 2020, he had 16 goals and 46 points. And then last year was the big year, 48 points, 20 goals in 54 games. And now he's got 23 points in 25 games. It takes a while. Yes, 82-game season will teach these guys about conditioning. Yes. Rick, I don't hate the kids. It's expected. Rick, part of it is that they haven't been handled right. You need to start putting these kids in positions to succeed. They're not doing so. Miller should go to the pack until he toughens up and develops a snarl. I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to it. I do think there are some things he needs to work on. I don't know if sending him down is going to necessarily help, but there were definitely things he needs to work on, Mike. I do agree with you there. I don't think they overhyped anything. These guys were consensus top 2 picks in their drafts for reasons. Lafreniere won CHL Player of the Year back-to-back years. Back-to-back years. The only other player to do that is Sidney Crosby. I mean, this kid's talented. He's beyond talented. He's been a winner at every level. He just needs to learn how to be a pro. Sometimes it takes time. Look at Nathan McKinnon. It takes time. Yeah, Jack, you're right about this. Hard to teach someone snarl. You either have it or you don't. But I do agree with Mike's point. It might wake him up if he gets sent down. Sometimes these guys need to be given a call, but I don't know. I don't know if you can call up Jones yet. I mean, Jones is really the only one that I think that could really do that. If you send down Keandre Miller and you play Jones there and you see what Jones has, I mean, could that help? Sure. But again, you're thrusting Jones into a top 6 role. John, I'm going to say this right now. Claude Giroux is a last piece type of move. Put them over the top type move. And I don't think you're going to want to pay the price that Philly's going to want for Giroux. I just don't see it. That's someone that, yeah, he would be a great fit, but I don't agree with what it would probably take to get him. I don't think guys would want to. I don't think you guys would want to pay that price. AZ, you're right about this. He relies too much on his reach, and he has to play the body better. You're right. I've said this before many times. You can't stick wave. You can't. And yeah, this is the thing, Brody. Giroux would fit like a glove, but yeah. I don't think they're moving Strome to the wing, Chris. I don't think they're moving him to the wing. I do think that they will try to get a winger. I think Riley Smith will probably eventually be their guy. I have a feeling that's what's gonna end up happening. Now, whether or not you can win with Riley Smith as your top right winger, that remains to be seen. Now I know you're trolling. I'd rather Schneider. He's more of a banger, which I think is a bigger need right now. That's fair. I have no problem with that opinion. I do not think Drury's going to make the big splash. I think it would be I agree with you, AZ. I totally agree with this comment. Rilk Filk. You would. Yeah, I know. He just wants to push buttons. I'm not really going to probably have more than this. I don't know how much longer I'm going to stay on. It's one of those nights where I don't have the steam that I've had in previous nights. And yeah, so Brandon, you're right about this, buddy. I agree. The first line needs a shakeup. It's just not working. It's not working. Something's not right. It's not clicking. They've had some games where they've looked okay, but this line's got to change. I'm a drunk because of Mark's love. How did I know that was going to come up at some point tonight? Yep, he's back. I don't think it's that type of trade, Davey, but I don't think it's a good move for the team to make. Jack, not necessarily if you could find a center for the third line. I love this reference. Do you want me to? I'm not crushing any cans off my head. I will cut myself up if I did that. So I'm not doing that. But Jack, to get back to this, I don't think it's a crazy idea. I think that you need a third line center. If they went and they got Jared McCann and they moved Chytil up and put him on the right wing, I honestly wouldn't mind that. I would give it a shot just to see if it works. At least something's got to change. Separate Trouba with Miller. No, you're not separating Lindgren and Fox. That's one of the best pairings in the NHL. You don't do that. Sorry, you just don't. AZ, I feel Drury's going to keep Schneider down there for this season. Not going to rush him up. Finally has Hartford on the right path. You know what? I agree. I don't think Schneider's coming up this year. Maybe if they make the playoffs early and they have a spot clinched and maybe they're okay with whatever positioning they're going to get, maybe you might see a cup of coffee for Schneider or Jones. But I think that's the most you're going to see, if any, at all. I just, according to what Steven say, according to what Steven was saying before, I should say, the organization feels that they would be better served getting 20 minutes a game in Hartford. Davey, I heard he has played it before, but it's been a long time, and I don't know if he's necessarily cut out for center. I don't know if Lafreniere is cut out for that. So definitely not defensively. You need a lot of responsibility defensively from a center. I don't think he fits that. Yeah, you could troll me. neutral me. It's okay. For the fun of the show, why not? They do need a shakeup. I do agree with you that they need to bring in a top 6 winger. It has to happen at this point. It'll help take some pressure off Kakko. Send Kakko back to the second line with Panarin and Strome. Move Dryden Hunt down. Dryden Hunt doesn't seem to have his leg lately. So Rooney is the fourth line center, Jack. I just don't think he can play any higher than fourth line. Schneider-Jones pairing is really developing chemistry together. Could be a future pairing. Yeah, I'd love that, AZ. Laffy needs stamina before he can take on bigger roles. Kid is struggling with 13 minutes a game. You're right about that. I've said that. He needs to work on his stamina, his skating, and his strength. So it just 3 things that I really want to see a noticeable change from in Lafreniere in this upcoming offseason. So Hunt cannot be in the top 6. You're right about that, AZ. You're right. I just really don't think of it. So I thought maybe it is now, but Rooney was the fourth line center before, Jack. But Rooney was centering the fourth line with Reeves and Hunt. So yeah, definitely did not say that. I think your eyes are getting blurry, Sean. Yeah, Kakko got bulked up, but he still hasn't improved his speed. Now he's got to improve his speed. Like big time improve his speed. James, they should make that Schneider-Jones pairing our third if Nils is ever out. I don't think you could really just call them up like that and then give them 15 minutes. I think you need to give them big minutes in Hartford to let them develop first. I think next year I would look at that. I like to see Laffy create his own shot more, but his skating needs improvement. Yeah. Brandon, I think that's when he could start creating his own shot. So when his skating and his strength improves. Mike, you're right about this. When you don't have stamina, you play weak and you make bad decisions. Notice that with Kakko in the past. We saw that from Zibanejad, especially last year when he was coming back from COVID. He made a lot of bad decisions, just did not have it. It took him a while. But I would say Mika has been somewhat of a slow starter. So hopefully he gets going sooner than later. Yeah, I do agree with the points on stamina, though. Davey, I don't know if Buchnevich would be the guy injured, but yeah, the Buchnevich trade hasn't helped. Mika definitely looks a little lost without him. Mika's scaring me with his start. Yeah, me too, Sean. Me too. He just hasn't looked good. How can a guy with an okay shot and a not a very good skater become not? Because the skating was good enough at that level, and it needs to improve at this level. When John Tavares was drafted, he was not viewed as a good skater, but he was viewed as one of the most decorated players in junior hockey history, just as Lafreniere is. But the one thing I said, and you can ask Anthony on our regular stream, is that I was actually at the Islanders draft party at the Coliseum when they took Tavares. Anthony asked me to go with him. And I told him on that very day, I said, if Tavares improves his skating and his strength, that he would be, and Lafreniere's doesn't have an okay shot. He has a really good shot. He just needs to use it more. But I said that if Tavares improved his skating and his balance on his skates, his edge work, that he would become an elite player. And he did. And he did just that in his third season. Tavares, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, it was his third season where I really noticed the improvement in his speed and his strength. So, and yes, he's a very good passer. Othman found his weakness was skating. So yes, exactly. Othman's been trying to improve his skating for years. So, but I think Othman will be a contributor. I think that the type of game he plays just helps. I'm telling you right now, I'm really high on Brett Berard. And I say that because Brett Berard is a phenomenal skater, and he reminds me of Hagelin with hands, hockey IQ offensively, and a shot. Like, if you gave Hagelin those qualities, you'd have Brett Berard. Same feisty player along the boards, feisty forechecker, really tough on the forecheck. He's the type of guy that causes a lot of problems for other teams. So I think Brett Berard's going to have a lot better of a career at the NHL level than people think. I think he's going to be a gem. Yeah, they did. That was the prospect profile. So, Brian, strength is Lafreniere's weakness. You're right, Brian. You're right. He needs to be better. Yeah, and Lafreniere has the drive, Davey. He has it, and he will improve it. It's just people have got to be patient. You've got to be patient. AZ, future Will Cooley is the future third line left winger? Possibly. He might have to shift over to right, though, to stay. How do I see Tuesday's game against the Avs from Sean? I think it's a real good test. Does Igor play? Do they show up? It depends. I mean, last week's defeat, I burned the tape. They were tired on a back-to-back, and they had a fourth-string goalie. If Igor plays, then who knows? But I think that would do a boost for this team mentally because they know that they have their guy back in. So, but you got to show up to play. And I thought they were chasing Colorado, but they played better against Colorado than they played against Nashville. Because Colorado, I think, is a better matchup for them because of the fact that Colorado's defense isn't great. Their team defense isn't great. They let up a lot of goals. And I think the Rangers can win a game like that. It's these games against teams like Nashville that want to trap and force them to change their style of play that really worry me. And the fact that Gallant never adjusted on that kind of pisses me off a little bit because he's been really good with the adjustments lately. But this team, I think, refused to dump it in, and that's what annoys me. So, James, I would like to see us come back strong with Igor and Net on Tuesday, but I have a bad feeling it's going to go like this. I don't know about that, James. I don't know if I agree with you there, bud, but we'll see. It just, yeah. I think that they need to wake up. I think this game should be a wake-up call for this team tonight. So hopefully it is, and they come back and they beat Colorado on Tuesday. And then you got Arizona on Wednesday, back-to-back, and that's a trap game. You cannot fall asleep on Arizona. I'm not saying because they're a good team, but if you show up like you did against Buffalo and you let them hang in there and they get a fluke goal somehow, yeah, then you could end up losing that game. This game disappointed. Even in our playing many victories are lacking. I'm still impressed with the growth. Next year, yeah, you're right. You're right, Mike. I agree with all that. Davey, I agree. Yeah, Georgiev was great. The goal wasn't good, but again, not his fault they lost. Colorado's an offensive juggernaut. We can beat them if we take advantage of the sub. Yeah, that's it, Brandon. That's it. That's the comment right there. Their defense isn't great. You have a team that concedes a lot of goals, and I'm gonna go over their stats right now because they're up there in goals given up. So they are not good with that. So Colorado, in goals against, they are 21st out of 32 with 82. They're first in goal with 106, which is, like I said, tops of the NHL. But they're 21 out of 32 in goals against with 82. So you can score on them and you can beat them. Mike, sorry, wow. I was looking at Mike's comment. John, more concerned about Wednesday? Yeah, I get it. The efforts have not been great. Mike, I hate big money players not producing, not the kids on the ELC getting 15. Yeah, you're right about this, Mike. Veterans got to step up. Mika Zibanejad, got to be better. Artemi Panarin, got to be better. Chris Kreider, got to be better. Ryan Strome, I thought he was probably the best of the forwards in the top 6, but got to be better. James, you're right. Coming out making life difficult for their goalie. You're right, and they didn't do that for against Saros tonight. So, yeah, Brody, I think there's definitely some fans that they get a little too impatient, as we've seen here tonight. So, I like the way this team is played up until like the last 5 or so games. But I've been talking about the efforts from this team and the way that they've been playing sloppy. And I know on some of my other good, bad, and uglies, I've talked about the high danger chances they gave up against teams like Chicago. You've got to be better than this. And they haven't been good lately. Gallant's got to get them out of whatever funk they're in, and they've got to start winning games convincingly against good teams. AZ, 3 out of 6 blue lines are set. Nemeth's not good. Nils a rookie. Miller's still developing. MYR need to make a put. Yeah, you're right. I agree with this. I don't think they're going to deal Georgiev until the offseason. It's not how it's going to be. I just don't see it happening, Davey. If you're looking for a Georgiev trade, unless they get another backup, then I don't think Georgiev is going anywhere. Mike, you're right. Let's not be like the Sabres fans on Dahlin. The fans chanting Dahlin sucks was one of the worst things I've heard. Brian, you thought that Lafreniere's smarts were his biggest strength, playing chess when everyone was playing checkers. He looks like he's playing shoots and ladders. He's a very smart player. He is. I just think that his confidence isn't there. And I think the confidence isn't there because the speed and the strength aren't there. And the stamina as well. And that's the biggest thing. If you don't have all of that, then your smarts kind of go out the window too. So this team needs to be better. He needs to work on those things to get better, and he will. Lafreniere has had a drive to improve on everything. So shoots and ladders was big in Quebec. Yeah, of course. You would say that. You would say that, Sean. Oh, man. Oh, man, what a night this has been. What a night. I don't know what else to say, guys and girls. It's one of those nights where there's not a lot of good to say. Yeah, and that's usually what you do. You keep things light, my friends. I'm trying to do the same. I'm trying to still stay positive. I mean, this wasn't a terrible, terrible loss, but it wasn't a good one. Oh, yeah, you were bringing, you massive heel heat here tonight, Sean. Massive heel heat. You think about it, Laffy first full season. Yeah, last season was half a year. You're right. The game was meh, but at least it wasn't a repeat of Calgary. You're right. That's important, Mike. You're right. They could have gotten shellacked. And Sutter, to me, is a better coach than Hines in Nashville or whoever's in Nashville. I think it's Hines, right? It just, you know what? You got to adjust. They didn't adjust. Oh, okay, Maxwell. Okay. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that, Maxwell. I'm going to start calling you Maxwell from now on. At least be like Jay White or something, dude. Rick, have a good night, buddy. Take care. Hopefully we get a little more positivity from you the next time around with a win. But yeah, Maxwell over there saying he's better than Kakko and he knows it. Yeah. And if you're going to be Maxwell, you got to be close to me here on Long Island, buddy, because that's where Maxwell lives. So can't be Maxwell in That's funny. I forgot. You live pretty close to him, don't you, Mike? But yeah, but you're not. But you're not, so you can't meet up with us. And Brandon, have a good night, buddy. Absolutely. Pleasure having you. I would like to get out to Arizona sometime. That would be cool, but I don't know if I can really pull that off right now, but I would like to. Yeah. Good night, John. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And I like the Enter Sandman song, but so take care. Yeah. All right, Brody. You have a good night too. Mike, yeah, oh yeah. Plainview is my hometown closest cryptos. Brody, she knows this. Davey, you're right. Their record against playoff teams isn't good. So 4-7. They got to be better. Got to be better. Yeah. So, probably go until about 11:45. We're running up on an hour and a half right now. I'll probably go until 11:45, so just a little over 10 minutes I'll stay on for. A lot of people are getting off. I'm going to bed. It's late on Sunday night. Not much else to really talk about. There's no rumors or anything to go over. It seems like the energy's been taken out of the chat too, just because of the fact that the loss happens. Not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, 4-7 against playoff teams is better than 0-11. Diane, you are right about this comment. Absolutely right. Maybe we're just giving higher ranked teams false confidence that they could beat us in the playoffs, and then it is shock and awe. That would be nice, but I don't know. Davey, yeah, Islanders fans can be annoying. I have good friends that are annoying Islanders fans too. Anthony is not one of those annoying Islander fans, but yeah, so. Oh, I know, Mike. I know. Trust me, I know that. So, yeah, but it's rough though because of the fact that you have to have patience with these kids. I can't say it enough, but you have to have patience. I know that there's going to be a point in time where we're going to be looking back at this and we're going to be laughing because these kids are going to end up being awesome players. There's no reason that they won't. If Kakko turns into a 30-goal, 60-point two-way player, I think people are going to be like, wow, I really doubted this kid. Lafreniere, I think, has 80-plus point potential. I really do. I think that the speed and the skating need to improve, but I think that this kid's just so talented. And there's no reason why he can't be a guy that scores that much. He's got all the talent in the world. He's got the great shot, great passing ability. His hands are incredible. So, yeah. Yeah, I know it's kind of quiet here. Just nothing going on. Nothing really to say. I mean, take a look at the scores, see what happened tonight. Try to inject a little life here. Sorry, guys, girls. Golden Knights beating the Wild right now. Well, on the bright side, the Hurricanes are losing 2-0 to the Canucks. So, Yeah, James, for the most part, I would agree with this, Brian, this is a good question. With Panarin, Mika, and Kreider in their primes, I don't know if we can wait, but you know what? I don't know if Kreider is really the answer going forward. I don't know. Kreider had a great hot streak, but tell you right now, if he starts pulling what he pulled in 2018-19, where he had 20 goals in the first 38 games, then you're looking at a guy that's going to need to go at some point. And once that no movement clause goes, you deal him away. You deal him away if he doesn't start contributing. So right now, Chris Kreider has 18 goals, or 17 rather, 17 goals in his first 27 games. So he is 1 goal shy of where he was at that 2018, or actually no, 3 goals shy of that mark with 11 games in hand right now. So what concerns me is that Dolan will start losing cool and being George Steinbrenner in the late 80s, early 90s. I would hope not. I don't think that'll happen. I don't think Dolan knows enough about hockey. He already tried that years ago in the early 2000s, and it didn't work. So I don't think that's going to happen, Davey. But back to Kreider. He only has 4 assists. That's not good. That's not good at all. And his career high in assists is 25 in 2017 and in 2015. But in 2017, he had 25 assists in only 75 games as opposed to 80 in 2015. So, I mean, he needs to be better than what he's been. Much better. And I just, I don't know. Diane, good night. Have a good one. I feel like we have 2 different philosophies going on. One's vets in their prime, elite coaching, kids in development. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And Dolan stepped in and kind of said, I want this sped up. And you can't do that. You can't do that. It just doesn't work like that. And part of the reason why this is like this, Sean, is because of the fact that they signed Panarin. And I get it. You don't pass up a guy like Artemi Panarin in his prime at that age. But getting Artemi Panarin really put that and the 2020 season itself, them making the play-in round, really kind of sped up the rebuild more than it needed to be sped up. And expectations became a lot higher. So you can't... It's either got to be one thing or the other. You can't have the best of both worlds with that. You either got to develop these kids and take the time, or you got to go all in. So I don't know anymore about how this team is trying to have it both ways. It just doesn't work like that. You need to be smarter. I don't. And it's coming from the top. It's coming from Dolan, and that's the big problem. So I don't know. Yeah, Kurt. I agree in a way that it kind of messed things up, and that's the thing. They want to try to win during Panarin's prime years, and I get that, but at the same time, and you're right, Sean. They want that sooner than later, but really, Brian brought up the question: can this team wait? Can they afford to wait? And that's the thing. I don't know if they necessarily can, but they're going to have to. You cannot give up on a second overall pick unless you are getting someone like Jack Eichel. That ship has now sailed. You cannot afford to give up on a second overall pick. So I don't know. I feel like we're caught in the middle of two different things. And that's the problem here. And that's why there's so much confusion. James, thank you. Have a good night. Appreciate it, man. Kurt, yeah, it's way too early to start giving up on them. You can't give up on a first and a second overall pick in their second and third seasons, respectively. At this point, I just want the Olders to get eliminated in the first round and strong arm a trade. Oilers, I guess you're talking about there, Mike? Some nights this team shows you glimpses of a Stanley Cup winning team, but it's false hope. It's too early to talk about whether they're a cup winner. It's too early. If they make the playoffs this year, it's progress. Sometimes progress is important. Good night, Sean. Have a good one. Oh, McDavid. Yeah, McDavid ain't happening. I don't think it's happening. But I would trade the world for McDavid. But you would need to send back players. You would need to send back NHL players because salary's got to go back in return for McDavid. There's no way this team could afford to add $12 million. And then Mika Zibanejad, you can't move Mika Zibanejad because now he has a no trade. You gave him a full no trade. Can't move him. That's it. You're stuck with him. So, yeah, and Davey, you're right. We're not getting McDavid. But I know I said I was going to go a few more minutes, but I think I'm going to cut her off here. A lot of people are leaving. I'm just a little bummed too. So sorry, guys, but it's just the night. So, but yeah, I agree. So no McDavid. I agree with this. If you're gonna trade for Connor McDavid, I have no problem giving up the farm for him. But you're gonna have to do what it takes to get a guy like McDavid. It's gonna cost a lot. Bill, you have a good night too, buddy. Appreciate it. But yeah, probably Tuesday will probably be the next time I'll be on here. After the game Tuesday, I'll try to do one. Wednesday, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to do one. I might just do one Thursday afternoon because it's going to be a late one on Wednesday. That would be that game will probably end around 11:30, 11:45. So, but because it's in Arizona, but yeah. So next game hopefully would be less meh and more Rangers hockey. Mike, couldn't agree more with that, buddy. Couldn't agree more. So hopefully we get a nice win next game. And hopefully I see you all in the chat again. Thank you for coming on and joining with me as always. Appreciate it. Guys and girls, just remember, like, share, and subscribe if you can. The likes help the algorithms and helps us get more noticed. I do agree with this comment. Gallant should be up there for Coach of the Year. He's done a great job with this team. So, but yes, hopefully we rebound. So, Mikey, Kurt, you guys both have a good night as well. Brian, everybody else in here. Guys and girls, all have a good night. And I will probably see you all Tuesday night. Let's go, Rangers.